Welcome to NarrativeNook audio tales where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
She had indeed gotten carried away. What makes her think it's okay to treat past events as if they have well and truly been forgotten, and keep bringing them up? Does she wish to remind everyone about them? He wondered. Karen swallowed and followed Dillian back to her room, too afraid to even breathe. Meanwhile, the butler had gone on to tell Benjamin, "Don't worry too much about Chloe." He figured that it was good that nothing worse had happened. "I just don't know what they're still not satisfied with," Benjamin said, sounding absolutely despondent. Every single thing they had done thus far was tantamount to criminal offense. However, they had been let off time and time again, which had only emboldened them to the point that they would even dare to kidnap and harm a member of their family. Some things are simply beyond our control, and Nicole has already handled everything. "I think you should stop worrying," the butler comforted in an attempt to soothe Benjamin. Following a sigh, Benjamin ordered, "Tell Damien to never step foot in the family manor anymore." He did not want to see them ever again, and above that, he did not even wish to acknowledge that there were still people like that in the Riddle family. From this day onward, Damien's family would no longer be a part of the Riddle family. The butler looked at Benjamin and nodded in agreement. "Rest assured, I will take care of it." After that, Benjamin looked out of the window and let out another long sigh. Meanwhile, Nicole and Jared were already on the way to the Riddle residence. "Aren't you going back to Johnston Group?" Nicole looked at Jared and asked. "I'm going home with you," Jared answered, his eyes soft and affectionate. This made Nicole blush, and she playfully said, "I'm fine, I don't need anyone to accompany me." She was neither harmed, nor in need of someone to take care of her. If Jared had something to do, he should get it done with. However, Jared went on to smoothen Nicole's hair and embraced her. "I want to accompany you." Although it had all been a part of her plan, he just could not imagine what would have happened if anything went wrong. As Nicole could sense that Jared was feeling tense, she bit her lip and leaned her head on his chest. "I promise that I'll tell you before doing anything risky in the future." Jared stroked her hair and gently kissed her on the forehead, prompting her to snuggle into his arms like a spoiled kitten. Then, he looked at her affectionately as he held her tightly for a while longer. After some time, the couple arrived at the Riddle residence, where the butler was surprised to see the two of them back home so soon. "Why have you come back?" "It's nothing. Carry on with your day." Nicole gestured to the butler. "Oh, okay," the butler responded, and left. Jared and Nicole returned to their room thereafter. In there, the afternoon sun streamed in, making the room warm and cozy. "Go take a shower and a nap right after." Jared gently patted Nicole on the shoulder. "Okay," Nicole nodded and took some casual clothes with her to the bathroom. Jared looked away when he heard the sound of running water emanating from the bathroom, and went to the small table, taking out his computer. When Nicole was done showering, she came out to see that Jared was busy, so she quietly went to the bedside, pulled the comforter over herself, and lied down. Jared smiled as he shot a glance over his shoulder. He then got up and went to where Nicole was. "Did I disturb you?" Nicole asked when she saw him approaching her. "Nope." Jared smiled, gently stroking her hair. "Just sleep. I'll watch over you." A warm feeling surged in Nicole's heart in an instant. She held Jared's hand, closed her eyes, and fell asleep, feeling content. Jared watched Nicole quietly, waiting for her to drift away before getting up and returning to the desk. His secretary had sent many files over to him, and so, he went on to get busy with his work. Meanwhile, Damien's house was empty and silent now that Damien was alone in it. Ever since he heard about what happened to Chloe, the air around him had been dark and oppressive. In the previous incident, Miley had taken the blame for Chloe, who was now arrested as well. Even Everett had fled abroad. This led him to wonder why his luck had been so rotten. It made no sense as to why he had been thwarted time and again. Nicole is just a country bumpkin. Why is she so good at everything? He fumed. He became livider the more he thought about it. Gritting his teeth, he wondered, how is it that our family ended up like this ever since Nicole came back? Then, he firmed his grip on his phone and hesitated for a moment before dialing a number. Dad, didn't I say not to call me? Everett's angry voice came through. Chloe got into trouble. Nicole has set her up. Damien quickly reported the situation to Everett. After a moment of silence on the phone, Everett said, "So, what do you want me to do?" "I can't take this. I can't let Nicole win." Damien gritted his teeth. "Find someone for me, someone who has never been to San Giotto, someone inconspicuous, and also, give it 3 days. They will contact you within 3 days." After saying that, Everett hung up. Damien breathed a sigh of relief. He had no choice but to turn to Everett. He knew that when Everett left, the latter had informed them not to contact him to avoid any unnecessary problems, and that he would return when the time was right. However, the situation was different now, as he had no one else to turn to. With all said and done, Everett had promised to hire someone for him, so all he had to do was plan the rest of it now. The setting sun cast a warm glow on the western horizon as evening approached. The living room in the Riddle residence was bustling as both Lulu and June had come over after work. Everyone had already been informed about Chloe's situation, and since Nicole had not gone to work in the afternoon, everyone was naturally worried about her. "I'm relieved to see you doing okay." Lulu eyed Nicole, feeling that she looked all right. "Don't worry about me, I have always been fine," Nicole reassured them, knowing that they were concerned about her. "Hey Nicole, has Uncle Damien received the news already? Why aren't there any responses from him at all?" Samuel asked, confused. "At a time like this, they should at least give us an apology, right?" he thought. "Grandpa has already severed ties with him," Nicole calmly replied. "Besides, it'll be nigh impossible for him to come over and apologize to me in person." If anything, he was probably harboring a great deal of resentment for her at this point. "I just feel it's not normal for him to be this quiet," Samuel said, sounding worried. Even if he was pretending to be okay, it was still odd that he had not displayed any sort of reaction at all. "Oh, it's completely normal," Nicole said as she narrowed her eyes. Regardless of what Damien was showing the rest of the family now, Nicole knew for sure that he was feigning it all. His true thoughts likely revolved around nothing but pure, unadulterated hatred. She glanced at Jared and found him looking at her. In that brief moment of eye contact, they both understood each other's thoughts. "Forget it. Let's not talk about it anymore. We should be happy that we've finally caught the culprit who was trying to screw with me," Nicole said, slowly regaining her composure. "That's right, and this deserves a celebration," Lulu agreed. She too had come to the conclusion that Chloe was reaping what she sowed. "Mommy!" Nolan and Lana shouted as they pounced on Nicole, who went on to ruffle their hair. "You're back," she greeted. "Mummy, you came back so early today," they said, as they were used to arriving home before she did. "Yep, I took half a day off," Nicole replied without giving them an explanation. "Hi Nicole." Tia came over to greet Nicole. "I will get going then." Tia figured that since the kids had arrived home safely, she should return to her house at the back. "Tia, please stay back and have dinner with us," June invited. "Let's eat together." "You should bring Mrs. Wallace Sr. along with you as well," Lulu echoed. "No, I better get." Tia was about to decline their invitation when Nicole interrupted her and said, "No worries. It's a gathering today. You should join us." With everyone extending her a warm welcome, Tia figured that she had no choice but to accept their invitation. During dinner, everyone in the family gathered in the dining room. Samuel and Spencer were taking care of June and Lulu, while Nicole and Jared were whispering to each other, talking about something not within earshot of the rest. Tia and Stanley were the only ones who were awkwardly silent at the dining table. Upon noticing how silent Tia was, Gloria said, "Come on, Tia. Don't be shy with us." "Thanks," Tia nodded, but she continued grabbing the dishes that were within her reach only. Tia was not shy whatsoever. However, she was evidently unnerved by Stanley, who was sitting directly across from her. Gloria, who had seemed to pick up on the tension, proceeded to stare at Tia and Stanley. She was unable to understand why they were so uncomfortable around each other. Mrs. Wallace Sr. instantly understood how Tia was feeling, and as she did not want Tia to be put on the spot, she began talking to Gloria to divert her attention. Upon noticing that Gloria's eyes were no longer on her, Tia breathed a mental sigh of relief. She knew that Gloria was just being kind, but she really could not stand all that attention from her. "Try this," Stanley said. Tia was petrified. As it turned out, he had swapped the dishes right in front of her with those she preferred. Although she had not seen him doing it, she knew it was him by the sound of his voice. After Stanley had positioned the new dishes in front of her, he remained silent and went on with his usual business of eating. He was not as calm as he seemed, but he knew that Tia was feeling very uneasy. As such, he did not want to cause her any further discomfort. "Oh my, what's going on here?" Lulu blinked her eyes and whispered to Nicole. Nicole shook her head, indicating that she was not familiar with the scene, and that she too felt that Stanley's behavior was rather puzzling. "Is he?" June crossed her middle and index finger, wanting to ask if Stanley was cheating on two women at once. "I don't think so," Lulu replied. She believed that no member of the Riddle family would do such a thing, as none of them had ever been known to do so before. In response, June frowned. "Me neither. But how can you explain this?" Suddenly, Stanley's phone rang. The moment he answered the call, Cherry's shrieking voice blared out. "Stanley, my heels are broken. Pick me up now. I'm eating dinner." Before Stanley could finish, however, the phone call ended. At first, he was perplexed and wanted to ignore Cherry's request, but once he realized what Cherry's intentions were, he looked up and met Tia's gaze. And after a short pause, Stanley informed Gloria, "Mom, I'm heading out for a while." With that, Stanley placed his cutlery down and left the house in a hurry. Stanley dared not look back, as he had caught a glimpse of how depressed Tia looked when he was on his way out. All it would take was a second of hesitation, and Stanley might change his mind and stay back. Let it be. Perhaps Cherry could help me out. If Tia cries for me, I will do my best to create a future for the both of us. But if she doesn't, I could only give her my blessings and leave her, he concluded. After Stanley had vanished from the doorway, June and Lulu's whispering became even louder. "Why is Cherry so rude?" Lulu asked. "She looked all right the last time we saw her though." "Sheesh, I guess you can never judge a book by its cover," June said with a hint of disapproval. "Perhaps they're in their honeymoon phase." "People tend to act differently when they're in that phase, you know," Nicole stated calmly, though her gaze went to tell June and Lulu to quit it with the topic. Fortunately, the duo picked up on Nicole's signal almost instantly, and proceeded to change the subject in a jiffy. Judging by how Tia looked, it was best if they did not add fuel to the fire. "I'm done," Tia stood up, trying to sound calm and composed. "Are you sure you don't want to have some more?" Gloria asked. "You've been eating very little today." Tia looked at Gloria and replied, "No thanks. My stomach is full already." "All right then," Gloria said, not wanting to push Tia. Tia did not leave right away once she was done, as she had to wait for Mrs. Wallace Sr. while she remained seated. Tia could not stop thinking about how Cherry sounded in that phone call with Stanley. Sharing June and Lulu's opinion on the matter, Tia was in disbelief that Cherry had turned out to be so pushy and abrasive. Tia was even starting to think that Cherry might have put on a mask before she got together with Stanley. The very idea caused her face to blanch as she gritted her teeth. If that's the case, will Stanley really be happy in the future? Her head was still in the clouds when Mrs. Wallace Sr., who was done eating by that point, called out to her, "Tia, let's go back." There was a 30-second delay before Tia stood up and responded, "Yep, all right. We'll get going first," Tia said as she bade her farewell to everyone in the hall and pushed Mrs. Wallace Sr. back to the house in the courtyard. "It feels like Tia is hurt." Lulu sighed, feeling heartbroken for Tia. June nodded in agreement. Both of them are acting weird. Nicole followed up by shaking her head in helplessness. Let them settle it on their own. Nicole could not understand Stanley's decision either, but as this was an issue between Stanley and his partner, she had decided to respect his decision anyway. What are you talking about? Gloria asked, not knowing what they were conversing about. It's nothing. We're just saying that Stanley has been treating Cherry very well. Lulu beamed at Gloria. Gloria nodded. Indeed. That's how women should be treated. Lulu then breathed a sigh of relief in silence, thinking it was fortunate that Gloria had not overheard their conversation. Eat up, Nicole said, and proceeded to scoop some of the dishes up and place them onto Lulu's plate to get her to stop talking about it. Having noticed Nicole's cue, Lulu flashed her a smile and stopped mentioning Stanley and Tia entirely. After dinner, Jared took the kids upstairs. As June and Lulu had not left the house, Nicole stuck around and continued chatting with them in the living room. Oh, I almost forgot to ask. How are the wedding preparations? Lulu asked in anticipation. I have no idea, Nicole replied. Shocked, both Lulu and June asked. How could you not know? Due to the fact that I've been very busy lately, I haven't had the time to ask about it. Besides, the date isn't even set, so there's no rush, Nicole said calmly. After hearing that, the two women rolled their eyes at Nicole. There is nothing more important than this. It's all right. Although we didn't have a wedding, we have been officially married for a long time now, Nicole said. She felt that a wedding would just be purely ceremonial since her situation with Jared was completely distinct from that of Lulu's and June's. Lulu sighed and shook her head, prompting Nicole to chuckle and ask, "What's wrong?" In response, Lulu looked at Nicole with envy and said, "Jared really does spoil you." Hey, if you phrase it like that, a certain someone might get sad, Nicole teased. Knowing what Nicole meant, Lulu blushed. I'm not saying Spencer's bad or anything. Lulu was just teasing Nicole, but in the process of doing so, she had been struck with a comeback that had left her floored. I'm serious, Nicole. You should pay more attention to your wedding, June advised. Hearing that, Lulu reminded, I think we better not advise her on anything else. We'll be the ones who can't stand them once they start getting lovey-dovey. Lulu had gotten it right. Nicole's complacency was not a result of her not taking her wedding to heart. It was because Nicole knew Jared would handle everything for her, leaving her with nothing to worry about. You're right, June said in agreement. The few chit-chat for a while longer, and it was only when it was getting late that the two decided to leave. After sending her friends off, Nicole got up and returned to her room. Are the kids asleep? Nicole asked Jared. They're fast asleep, Jared replied. You must be exhausted. I'm fine, Nicole smiled. I had a great nap. Nicole then glanced at Jared's laptop and asked, What about you? Are you done with work? Just finished, Jared said, and got up to take a seat next to Nicole. Nicole laid her head on his shoulders and wrapped her arms around his. Ah, finally, the day is over. I can't help but feel that you must prepare to strike Damien soon, Jared said. Nicole seemed exceptionally composed, as far as Damien's situation was concerned, giving Jared the impression that she had everything under control. Meeting Jared's gaze, Nicole smiled and said, So you noticed too? Well, it's not hard to figure out, Jared replied with a hint of affection, and gave Nicole's forehead a light tap. Hee. Nicole smirked. Don't worry. I won't act on my own this time. I'll be sure to discuss it with you beforehand. Nicole had a feeling that she could handle Damien on her own, but she decided that it would be best for her to inform Jared of her decision, just so that she could put him at ease. Good, Jared agreed, not intent on disappointing Nicole. After that, she beamed and planted a kiss on Jared's cheek. Thank you. Slow but intense, Jared's gaze descended upon Nicole's lips, on which he placed a gentle kiss after he had lowered his head. Then, Nicole too began to lose herself in the moment. As dawn broke, the sun rose, casting shades of blue, yellow, and orange on the sky. A new day began with the chirping of birds filling the air. Nicole opened her eyes and slowly sat up. Out of nowhere, Jared grabbed her and kissed her right at the temple. Blushing, Nicole playfully frowned at Jared. "Get up already, would you?" With a gentle gaze, Jared planted a kiss on Nicole's forehead before releasing her for her morning shower. Nicole hurried off to the bathroom after she had gotten off the bed. She then calmed herself with a splash of cold water on the face. Will that jerk just chill in the morning? His appetite is almost too much for me to handle. After washing up and preparing to make her way downstairs for breakfast, Nolan and Lana approached Nicole just as she was leaving her room. "Mommy," the kids called out. With each of them clinging to Nicole's arms, the kids' faces lit up with delight as they headed to the first floor with their mother. "Oh, you're all awake. Let's have breakfast then," Gloria greeted once she had seen them. As they were sitting at the dining table, Nicole noticed Stanley's pale complexion and asked, "Did you sleep well last night? You don't look so good." "Oh really?" Stanley touched his face. "Well, I had an all-right sleep." Nicole raised her eyebrows, knowing that something on his mind had kept him awake during the night prior. However, Stanley seemed determined to not dwell on it, so Nicole decided not to press him for more answers. After breakfast, Tia came over to send the children to school. Upon getting into the house, Tia greeted everyone, including Stanley. She then snuck a brief glance at Stanley before averting her gaze and taking the kids away with her. Stanley watched as Tia departed. He could not help but feel that there was something alienating about the way she was behaving right in front of her. "Mom, Dad, I'll get going," Nicole informed. She could sense some kind of change in Stanley, but as she did not wish to say anything about it, she packed her stuff and left the house with Jared. Stanley quickly withdrew his gaze. Even though he found the breakfast in front of him unappealing, he quickly cleaned his plate and left for work as well. Why are these few acting so weirdly today? Daniel wondered out loud. Gloria agreed. I had the same feeling. What's going on? Barring Chloe's stunt, nothing significant had happened last night, so they did not understand why the kids looked as if they had a cloud of gloom hovering over them. Meanwhile, Nicole and Jared had both strolled off to the courtyard where their car was parked. Patricia has arranged for someone to keep an eye on Damien. She'll inform me if there's any news, Nicole said, believing that Damien would no doubt make a move. At this rate, it was just a matter of time. You can always ask Charlie if you need him, Jared suggested. Sure thing, Nicole agreed. She would ask Charlie to assist Patricia if additional backup was needed. After a while, their car stopped at the entrance of Riddle Corporation. Nicole got out of the car and watched as it drove off before she entered the company building. Your gown for Ellison's group's annual celebration has arrived, her secretary informed her. Frowning, Nicole waved her hands and said, "There's no need for a gown." After all, Nicole was just showing up as the partner for the joint venture. She figured that it would be more suitable for her to wear a formal dress. "I won't change my attire then," Lulu said while approaching Nicole. Lulu overheard Nicole's comment as she was walking up to her, and she felt it was more appropriate for her to dress up formally as well. Nicole smirked at the sight of Lulu coming up to her. "So, I see you are ready to join us today." "Yep. What you said made sense, so I've been making preparations for the past 2 days," Lulu said. Then, she clenched her hand as a gesture of diligence and said, "Just you wait for the fruits of my effort, Nicole." Nicole chuckled and went on to encourage Lulu. "I sure will. Waiting for your good news. The banquet is in the evening. Let's head there after lunch," Lulu suggested. "I'm fine with that," Nicole agreed, as she was not planning to go on an empty stomach. Events such as these would usually provide wine and finger food instead of proper meals in large quantities. "Nice, let's go grab lunch together." Lulu smiled. Nicole nodded and walked into her office, while Lulu returned to hers. Soon, it was lunchtime, and the two met up before heading out together. Ellison Group's annual celebration this year must be exceptionally grand, am I right? I heard many influential figures in San Giotto are coming over, Lulu asked. Lulu had been to annual banquets before, but this was her first time attending one considered to be grand and high budget. It should be. Nicole snorted. Regardless of how elaborate and grand it would be, she still had very little interest in it. Well, with Harvey requesting your absolute presence, do you think he has other plans in mind? Lulu wondered with a frown. We'll find out when we reach. Nicole continued eating her lunch without a tinge of anxiety. Nicole had already promised to attend the celebration. She figured that Harvey would not have the temerity to do anything embarrassing to the both of them at the annual banquet. She also believed that he would know her personality and style of doing things if he was not a complete imbecile. After another few minutes of chit-chatting, the two leisurely finished their lunch and left for the banquet. Then, they took a cab to the banquet venue, and upon reaching, they saw that some of the guests had already arrived and were going to the ball. I think we're early, Lulu complained, looking at how sparse the crowd was. If she knew that this was going to be the case, they would have stayed at the restaurant a little longer, since showing up early would be a boring waste of time. Don't forget what you're here for, Nicole smirked as she reminded her. Oh yeah, you're right, Lulu nodded. Let's get in then. Lulu linked her arm with Nicole's, and together, they entered the venue. The venue was stunningly decorated, with the hall exuding an air of elegance and grandeur. The atmosphere was lively and cheerful, with everyone mingling and socializing. There, the waiters moved gracefully through the crowd, offering drinks and snacks to each and every single one of the guests. As the waiters passed by Nicole and Lulu, they both took a glass of wine each and walked up to the crowd. Do you know any of them? Nicole asked. Yep, I read and memorized their personal information beforehand. Lulu nodded in response. Hearing that, Nicole chuckled. In that case, I won't steal your spotlight. Don't worry. Just wait for my good news. Lulu smiled. Then, they laughed and went on their merry way, with Lulu heading toward her targeted crowd, while Nicole socialized with some of her business partners. As the crowd grew, the scene got even livelier. However, there were no signs of Harvey, which puzzled everyone. They were wondering why Harvey had not shown up at such an important event. What's that? Someone screamed, capturing everyone's attention. It was then that a few individuals entered the venue carrying with them a large bouquet of flowers. The bouquet in question was so massive that it covered the faces of those carrying it. Are these for Mr. Ellison? Who would send so many flowers to him? While everyone was busy discussing the flowers, the men carrying the bouquets unexpectedly stopped in front of Nicole and handed them to her. As Nicole could not hold all the flower bouquets on her own, she asked Lulu for help. What's going on? Lulu whispered. Nicole shook her head, saying, I have no clue. Then, a thought crossed Nicole's mind. Could it be from Harvey? Since everyone is here to congratulate Ellison Group, nobody else would dare to send me flowers on this occasion. Such frivolous extravaganza is something only Harvey would typically do. Thank you for coming to our annual celebration, Nicole. Your presence truly graces our celebration, so here is a little token of my appreciation. I hope you like it, Harvey announced as he sauntered into the venue. So it is Harvey's gift to Nicole. But why did Harvey give Nicole presents? As expected, the murmurs and whispers among the guests reached Nicole and Lulu's ears in short order. Harvey is such a bastard. He insisted that you show up, and here he is, doing this on purpose, Lulu grumbled. Nicole snorted. Clearly, that's what he is doing. That damn Harvey. He is actually making a mockery of his own company's annual event. Lulu muttered in frustration under her breath. The fact that you're silent must mean that you like the flowers, Harvey gloated as he approached Nicole. Nicole's eyes flashed with a hint of cold fury as she responded. If I said I do not like it, will you get someone to take the flowers back? How could I possibly like this? He's clearly asking a question he has the answer to, she fumed. Harvey froze for a moment, but he maintained his smile. It's a token of appreciation for you, so it's up to you to decide what to do with them. In other words, Harvey was saying that he would not take back the gifts he had given. Recognizing Harvey's intention, Nicole nodded and said, "All right then." Nicole swept her gaze across the crowd and landed on a group of young women, who were seemingly employees of Ellison Group. "Lulu, please hand them the flowers," Nicole said. Though she was not loud, everyone had heard what she just said. "Sure thing," Lulu replied promptly, and went off to do as Nicole had instructed. Within moments, Lulu handed the bouquets over to the young employees. However, the employees' expressions became complex as they received the flowers. The flowers were lovely, but the fact remained that they were supposed to be Harvey's gift to Nicole. They were afraid that they would be fired after receiving them. As they held the flowers, the women had no idea what to do with them. "There's no need to thank me. You should thank Mr. Ellison instead," Nicole said, her tone casual after she had noticed the unease on the women's faces. "Don't mention it," Harvey said dismissively. After that, the women breathed a sigh of relief and said, "Thank you, Mr. Ellison and Ms. Riddle." They did not dare to pass the flowers they were holding to someone else. Thanks to Nicole, however, Harvey would not be able to hold them responsible for it. With everything said and done, she turned around and left the crowd of screaming women. "This is way too scary, even for me." Nicole turned to look at Harvey after she had thrown the bouquet of flowers to the crowd of hormonal teenage girls, and in a monotonous voice, she said, "Mr. Ellison, I assume that everyone from your family is already here for the annual dinner. Shall we start? It's getting quite late. I would like to see you try. You have the nerve for tricking me into coming. I'll show you how it's done." I can't believe he had the temerity to waste so many people's time, Nicole sneered. Harvey smirked and gritted his teeth, trying to maintain his composure before making his way up to the stage to give an opening speech. "He's flirting with you in front of so many people. Is he out of his mind?" Lulu asked in hushed whispers with a look of disgust plastered on her face. "I can't believe he really did that in front of everyone here. Come to think of it, I'm really starting to believe that he really had taken Ellison Group over with ease. Of course, Thomas might have given in due to guilt," Lulu thought. "Maybe he's got nothing to do and he's just bored." "How's things on your side?" Nicole asked Lulu. "Things are going well on my side. A few companies are interested in my proposal. I've set up meetings with them to further discuss it. I think I'm going to bag them," Lulu bragged. "Nice job. Since this fella doesn't seem to be interested in staying in his lane, we might as well give him a surprise of a lifetime," Nicole replied as she turned to look at Harvey, who was now on stage. "Huh. What are you going on about?" Lulu asked as she inched closer to Nicole. In turn, Nicole leaned over and whispered into Lulu's ear. Soon after, the host of the annual dinner went on to announce on the microphone, "All right, everyone. The next thing on our agenda is one of the highlights of the night. Come grab your plus ones, step onto the dance floor and dance your heart away." Everyone got up from their seats and began making their way to their partners. Meanwhile, Harvey scanned the room, his eyes ranging over anyone and everyone until they fell on the pair he was looking for, Nicole and Lulu. Then, he took confident strides toward them with a smug look on his face. "Ms. Riddle, care for a dance?" Harvey asked in a posh accent as he extended his hand. "Oh my goodness. Me?" An unfamiliar voice suddenly responded. This took Harvey aback, who whipped his head up and took a good look at the person who was standing in front of him. This is not Nicole, but she's wearing the same clothes Nicole was wearing earlier. Harvey seethed. "Who are you?" Harvey spat. "We're the outstanding staff who were invited to the annual dinner," the woman replied in a soft, timid voice. The woman was completely flabbergasted. She had no idea what was happening and why Harvey had approached her with an invitation to be his dance partner. Harvey quickly spun around and scanned the hall, hoping to catch a glimpse of Nicole, but to no avail. It was then he came to his senses and realized what had happened. "I wanted to invite Nicole for a dance, but she has left without saying a word. I'm such a schmuck. How the hell did I ask the wrong person? God damn it. How could I be such a dumbs?" Everyone else was wearing suits and Nicole was the only one wearing a dress. But how could two employees? That sneaky woman. Wow, I really can't believe her. And just like that, Harvey was left fuming in the middle of the ballroom. Meanwhile, Nicole and Lulu had already left the hall after pulling a successful Irish exit on him. I feel much better out here than when I was back there. The air's fresher too, Lulu said, and drew a deep breath. The invitation Nicole had received from Harvey was not one given from a place of courtesy. Instead, it was all a part of his scheme to cast Nicole in a negative light. Listen. About the things you've told me earlier, I just want you to know that if you need my help on anything, you can always call me or Patricia, Nicole informed Lulu. I know. Lulu nodded in agreement. Back at the headquarters of Riddle Corporation, Patricia stood up in shock as she saw Nicole and Lulu walking into the office. Ms. Riddle, why are you back so soon? She asked. Don't even bring it up. Harvey Ellison really is a piece of shit. He was up to no good from the very beginning. Lulu ranted. Patricia frowned. He really was pushing his luck, wasn't he? And in front of such a huge crowd too. He really wasn't afraid of any backlash, it seems. I'd rather think that he's simply too thick-skinned to be bothered by any sort of significant backlash, Lulu grumbled as a grimace crossed her face. Patricia nodded in agreement. Fair point. As Lulu did not expect Patricia to nod along to her angry rants, she busted out into fits of laughter as she maintained her stare on Patricia's expression. Patricia, on the other hand, looked serious and unamused. Patricia then turned to Nicole. Ms. Riddle, I would advise you to avoid any further interaction with Mr. Ellison in the future. Don't worry about that, Patricia. I will make sure that he will be avoiding Nicole in every way possible, Lulu said with a smug smile plastered on her face. However, what surprised Patricia was how expressionless Nicole was. Nicole must have got something up her sleeves. If there's anything you need help with, you can always ask me, Patricia said to Lulu. I will. Thanks, Patricia. Lulu beamed. Patricia proceeded to return the smile. You are most welcome. I'll head back to my office now if there isn't anything else, Lulu announced as she turned around and made her way back to her office. After a long period of silence, Nicole shot Patricia a glance. We can speak in the office. Yes, Ms. Riddle, Patricia replied, and followed Nicole into her office. Upon reaching Nicole's office, Nicole cut straight to the chase. So tell me, what seems to be the matter? I've managed to dig up a few things about Damien. He has been holed up in his residence recently. On top of that, he has been firing everyone from his place. His cook is the only one who is left. I think it's very suspicious, Patricia reported. In response, Nicole furrowed her eyebrows. He doesn't even leave his own house anymore? I wonder how long he can stay indoors for, Nicole pondered. Patricia wore a solemn look as she replied. Yes, apparently so. I'm not sure if he is planning something or not. Are you sure he's inside? Nicole asked. The situation in question was raising a large number of alarm bells for her, as it was not normal for Damien to stay inside his house for extended periods of time. Patricia nodded. Yes, he is in his residence. He hasn't stepped a foot out since Chloe was detained. Nicole's expression darkened the instant she had heard Patricia's answer. It seems that he is just sitting at home, waiting for something to happen. Hold on. Are you saying that he doesn't have any influence over anything anymore, so he's sitting around waiting for Everett? Patricia interrupted. It's definitely possible that he is. Look into this matter immediately, and see if he has been contacting Everett, or if Everett has been paying any visits to him, Nicole ordered. Yes, Ms. Riddle. Patricia nodded. Keep your eyes peeled. Everett might be using a fake identity to travel to and navigate around San Giotto, Nicole advised. Patricia nodded again. Yes, I'll make sure of it. Patricia left Nicole's office shortly after, leaving Nicole to lean back against her seat as she gazed out of the window. If Damien really is waiting for someone or something, my guess is that he is waiting for Everett.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.